darkness. My God, that is who you.
Hello, beautiful women. Today I want to talk about the actions of a narc and why their words don't line up with their actions. I also want to start off by saying I hope everybody's safe and staying at home and is having lots of family time, and I hope the online school stuff is going really good. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you're liking the information that you're getting and you're getting something from it. But anyway, I've noticed that people don't start looking for information on narcissism or codependency or start asking questions about anything until everything's gone wrong. So I'm assuming at this point, everything has gone wrong. So I know that in the beginning, you know, they would show up and do the things that they were supposed to do. You know, if you had plans with your friends, they'd be like, yeah, I'll be there at 6 o'clock, and they'd be there at 6 o'clock, and you go and have a great night and this and that. Dinner wasn't an issue. Like, they'd just get off work and come over and have a dinner, and the routine wasn't an issue. You know, they just did what they said they were going to do. You know, if they said, okay, next week we're going to go to my mom and dad's and we're going to have dinner on Sunday, you know, that was done. And, you know, and they definitely, you know, followed through with all of that. Now I'm assuming you're at the point of where you've been pretty much devalued and discarded. And, excuse me. And, I'm assuming now you're kind of wondering what is going on. At this point, they're just using you. There's no other way to say that. You're convenient and easy, and they don't have to put a whole lot of investment into you at this point. They know they already have you because they know that you love them. And so at this point of the stage and game, it is a game. My biggest advice is really block on everything. Social media. Block them on social media, block them on your phone. Don't answer their emails, don't answer their texts. Really at this point, for your own sanity, this is what you need to do, because when they come back, it's really just to abuse and punish you. There's no working this out at this point. I don't know anybody that has had a narcissistic relationship that hasn't ended this way. If they're coming back, it's only because they're lonely and they don't have a supply. So I can tell you that none of their actions are ever going to line up with their words. You're going to have to take control back of your life and take control of the situation by protecting yourself and protecting your kids. You know, because so many times these men or women, they're around our children, and the children are confused. Everybody's confused at this point. And if they keep coming back, all that's going to happen is you're going to end up hating them. Your children are going to end up hating them. Your parents are going to end up hating them. Your siblings are going to end up hating them. And the list goes down, down, down. So, you know, it almost gets to a point that if you let it go on and on and on, you're starting to look like an idiot. And your parents are getting tired of hearing about everything. And your kids are getting tired about it. And it's just you're just waiting for the end. And, but anyway, I'll get back into their actions. So, also when you're letting them come back, what you are doing is, I'm probably sure you're looking for answers of why they cheated, why the relationship didn't work out. You're calling your expectations due. You want to know why they're lying. You want to know why they're telling you they love you and it's an empty I love you. You're trying to figure out why they're pacifying you. And you know, that's the big thing, is the question is why? You know, because normal people just don't do this stuff. They don't just come back and have no intentions of fixing stuff. The narcissist does. As I said, the only reason they're coming back at this point is to get supply off of you. So if they're lying and being like, yes, you know, I made a mistake, and you're falling for it every time, they're going to keep coming back. You're a good supply to them. And You know, I think the thing is that you can't get through your head that they actually hate you. So at this point, they're really gonna just punish you, and that punishment is brutal. Um, you know, they are to a point where they didn't annihilate you enough the first time. So they're gonna just really leave you broken, lonely, suffering, hurting, drained. Um, you know, you're just, you know, you're just not gonna know why any of this is going on. And this is to give you some insight and some just basic knowledge, but that's what they're doing. And I know that you love them and you're all in and you're trying to figure out how to make this work. But at the end of it, there's really, you're just going to end up hurting yourself more. And I know it's really hard to let go, because we build such a fantasy in our head of who these people are, and the life that we were going to have with them. But that life and that whole thing you built up in your head, it wasn't real. So anyway, I noticed that with mine, after we got to this stage, you know, he would try to fake it until he couldn't make it anymore. That's the best way to put it. He would tell me all the things that I wanted to hear. And once I started calling him out on everything, he would start to disappear. And, and you know, we would go sometimes on months without talking. And then all of a sudden I would reach out and be like, hey, so are we still on this break? What are we doing? And then he'd come back with the same thing. No, I really missed you. And, you know, I really want to work this out. And, you know, there was one night in particular that I can think of that he was supposed to be over like at 7 o'clock. And last minute he was like, hey, I'm going to go to dinner with buddies. And the way he was dressed, I already know he was on a date. So the date ran longer. And, you know, and then on top of it, he never goes to sushi restaurants, like ever. You know, I was like, okay. So I know that it was a date thing, and he came over afterwards. So, you know, I can't really answer this for you, except for you're going to have to find the strength within you and try to move forward and realize that, you know, it's hard when your heart is telling you one thing and your brain's telling you another. But in your brain, you know these people aren't good for you. You know that they're never going to be able to give you what you want. You know their actions are never going to line up with their words. You know, you definitely know these things. But your heart is so invested that, you know, you want to keep having hope, and you want to keep, and every time they come back, you're getting false hope. I also know that the last time he came back, he was already in a relationship. So I was just spare supply at that point. So I want to believe that it was like November. It was probably the last week of October during Halloween and the first week in November. And I mean, we were still intimate. We were still, you know, and literally I started being like, okay, this is what I want. And he was like, well, we need to take this really slow. Well, we need to take it really slow because he had somebody else in place already. So, and I was like, you know, I can take it slow, but you know, these are the things that I need. And then he was just like, I can't do that right now. And I was like, okay. So to me, we were on a break. And then like 6 months later, he decided to post on his Facebook about how he'd been in this relationship with this girl since like November 1st or something. Well, we were still together then. And, you know, I was just like, okay, whatever. But, you know, that's just what they do. They try to do things that will cause the massive amount of devastation to you. The only thing is that I was at that point where I didn't really care anymore. I'd been through enough, and I had been seeing somebody else anyway. So it was just kind of like, okay, well, you know, let's just see where this goes. But I really didn't have any expectations or really care one way or the other. But I'm going to tell you that you really need to block and unblock them, or don't unblock them, but just keep blocking them and let them play their ghosting games. But really, for your own sanity, you just need to walk away and go complete no contact. And that's where I had to get, where it was just complete no contact. And you know, and that's just the final discard of it. There's just, and I hate to be like the one that's like, hey, there's no hope here, guys, but there's no hope, guys. It's time to heal yourself and move on, and just kind of just build yourself back up and build your self-esteem back up, and know that you're better than this. My next video is probably going to be really based on codependency healing and for empaths. I feel really led going that way. I hope this video was helpful, and again, please hit the like and subscribe, and we will be seeing you next week. By the way, my channel comes out every Wednesday around 5 o'clock, so I hope you join us every Wednesday, and I hope you get something out of this.